Spread out and waste the moments in an offhand way, kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home, watch the rain. You are young, and life is long, and there is time to kill the day. And then one day you find 10 years you got behind you. No one told you when to run. It's the start and gone. You run, catch up with the sun and it's sinking. Racing around, come on, out and believe. The sun is a sin in a relative way, but you're older. Shoulder of bed, one day closer to death. Every year is getting short. Never seem to find the time. Planting that came to naught, a half a page of scribbled lines, hanging on in quiet desperation. Is it this way? The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I'd something more to say. Good morning, everyone. Walter Parks here in St. Louis. Always trying to achieve the unachievable, playing a Pink Floyd song on solo guitar. I came up with the idea to do that last night at sort of the final hour because of daylight savings time, or whatever this time is now. It's farmers savings time, farmers daylight time. Whatever it is, I don't like it because I get used to the way I get used to where the sun is hitting the horizon at this time of year, and you know and my body's ready for it. My body's acclimated to it a certain way, and I know y'all's is too, whether you are aware of it or not. My dogs are certainly acclimated to it, and they don't care. They don't really care about, daylight. They just don't care about these things. And So the birds and the owls are still going to be doing what they do at the same time, and but yet we change. And yeah, I get it that there's a reason for it, but I just don't understand why people who have certain professions they just don't adjust. Why does everybody else have to adjust? And the answer would be because they bring us the food, and we should yield to them. I have farmers in my family, of course, and they're going to be very upset at me for these comments. And I'm a city man, of course, and we're not expected to understand these sorts of things. But there are so many things about life that, if you just kind of do the emotional math of it all, you realize that certain people are being favored in sort of social acceptance, and other people are being disfavored, and we just think, well, that's okay. That's okay. For instance, I'm gonna rant a little bit this morning. First of all, this is the first. This is episode. I don't know what episode it is, but this is fall of 2021. Now, what happens in the fall here? I'm in the Midwest, and this is a little field report for you all. Something that we don't really have to deal with if you live in the suburbs of a huge city. I mean, excuse me, if you live in the urban areas of a huge city, like New York City. I lived in the shadows of New York for most of my adult life, right across the river. But here in the suburbs, especially in the Midwest, no, actually it's everywhere, but in the Midwest, there's a particular problem. Leaf blowers. I hate leaf blowers. And not only do I hate them, but I really hate them at 6:30 in the morning. There's a guy in our neighborhood who started his leaf blower at 6:30 in the morning. And because I was preparing for this broadcast for you all, I didn't get out and get all, as we say, all New York on him. But it's coming. If I don't have a show to produce, he's going to get a little New York. And the neighborhood's going to be better for it, I think. However, there's this thing that happens in the Midwest because people are so courteous here, and that's a lovely thing. But I think this guy blew and blew and blew for an hour and a half. And apparently nobody said anything about it. Or unplugged this leaf blower, or stopped him from doing what he was doing, or maybe he just didn't care to stop. But there's this thing that people draw that line. They do the emotional math, and they say, oh, this would be very discourteous to approach this man. He's doing what he needs to do in his yard, and it's not my business. Well, it is your business. If you can hear it, it's your business. I'm concerned about my neighbors with these broadcasts. I'm concerned that they hear me going, and they do sometimes. And because I see that our neighbor is not home this morning, he works at night, and he comes home generally early in the morning. He wants to sleep. I normally don't do my kick drum because he can hear that. But somehow a leaf blower is okay. I can't wait. The only thing, I know I would be upsetting the whole neighborhood. I want to take my loudest amplifier and take it over to that guy's house and play some Hendrix rip or something. I guarantee you the police are going to be out in no time because Jimi Hendrix through a Marshall amp would not be acceptable at 6 in the morning. But somehow this guy with this leaf blower is okay. All right, that's my rant. But, the key to all of this is that do we do the emotional math and says, you've done this, therefore I'm not able to do whatever it is I want to do, sleep or prepare for my show or, do you do that? I am the way I am because of your conduct. Do you do that emotional math, or do you just let people do whatever they're going to do? And letting people do their thing, is in that parlance, it sounds 1960s and sounds really hippie-ish, but it seems to be the wave of the present, and I don't hold with it. I just can't live with it, and who cares? But here's my solution. And I want to be. We've been watching Ted Lasso, and at first I thought, Ted Lasso, what is this? This show has a horrible name, but basically. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about if you don't know, but it's kind of a feel-good show. Problems are solved because a coach of a team cares about humans, and he tries to make the team enjoy one another, and it's a feel-good show about allowing people to do their thing. And as long as they get the job done, and it's sort of not insisting that we all behave the same way. It's a very current piece of work. So, and Ted Lasso wouldn't approve of this, but I'm suggesting we got to do something to the leaf blowers all over the country. I remember a friend of mine posted that in Lambertville, New Jersey, I think it was, they were running, leaf blowers were a big problem there. Why don't we just get paintballs or something and shoot them at the guys with the leaf blowers? It's not going to really hurt them, and it's going to make them mad. What else could you do? You could collect leaves in your own yard and dump them on his yard, but the problem with that is that you're going to hear more leaf blowing. So I'm advocating sort of subtle violence here, because here's the thing. The emotional math of it, by my calculations, is that these guys are being violent in their own way. It's not violence in that, like, they're not beating down our doors and burning our houses down, but sonically it's violent. They would consider me playing Purple Haze through a Marshall amp violent in a certain way, sonically violent. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. Let's go to a happy place, shall we? This is Walter Parks. This is Hymns and Hollers. I am not interested at all in forgiving the archetypical leaf blower. I think he or she is absurdly inconsiderate, and that's the end of it for this morning. Do not forgive them. By whatever means, shut them down.
Someone says, Webster, you can just inform them civilly without calling the cops the first time anyway.
You can inform them civilly, unlike what they are doing to you. They have not informed you civilly with the leaf blower. They have informed you very violently, as far as I'm concerned. No, I am not taking the Christian high road. And I realize that there are more important issues in the world than me and my leaf blower problem. But I just think it's fascinating how some BS in this world we just accept. Can I get to my positive song now? Good morning, it's Walter Parks, Hymns and Hollers. Whoa. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? In me there is and I'll sing you a song. I'm gonna try not to sing out of key. Oh, I'm getting by with a little help from my friend. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Does it hurt you to be alone? No, it don't. How do I feel at the end of a day? Am I sad? Am I on my own? Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Oh, could it be anybody? Would you believe in a love at first sight? Well, I'm certain it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the lights? I can't tell you, but I sure feels like mine. Gonna try a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Pretty song by the Beatles, also done. I like the Joe Cocker version. Of course, it's a whole different vibe. It's a waltz, and you know, during the '60s, it was like, hey, we're all gonna work this out together. You know, that was the way people were thinking, and everything's just gonna get. We're all gonna pitch in and do the right thing because we all feel for each other. We're all in this together, and you know, I've worked with people and been with a lot of folks that I know feel like, you know, that communal concept is just going to work, and it's you know, I'm going a little socio-political today. It's a damn leaf blower, and but I remember Richie Havens. I worked with him for 10 years, and he would say, the potholes, we don't need the governments for the potholes. We'll just, why do we wait for the government to come fix the pothole? Let's just fix it ourselves. And my answer was because we won't fix it ourselves. Essentially, I mean, it's a great notion, but Richie and I would debate these issues all the time. And in spite of the fact that, if you think about it, that no government thing was it's very much kind of a position of the modern Republican archetype. No government, less government or something. And Richie was kind of, I'm not saying he was a Republican because he wasn't, and he was very liberal in most of his thinking. But in that instance, there was so many contrasts or ironies, if you will, to the way he looked at the world, and that's what I loved about him. He made you think. And he would say, "We don't need the government for these things. People will pitch in." And I once again, it brings me back to the leaf blower. Well, if left to our own devices, my belief is that, I'm sorry, but we want what we want, and we're going to do what suits us. And sometimes we just have to be introduced to the concept that your behavior is affecting all of us in a negative way, and it's not all about you. And so it's a wonderful thing to fantasize about the stewardship of the neighborhood fixing our typical pothole, and I wish it worked that way. And I've lived in communes, and what happens is that, or at least my experience was that, to be crass about it, there's always one person or more, who don't clean up after themselves, and everybody else ends up holding they pass there are people who do the heavy lifting, and there are people who don't. There are people who pass the buck on to others, and there are people who don't. And yet they will go around saying that we should all live together and work together and be stewardly, and they have all these fantasies about how morally, how much they care about everybody else. But I just don't think the world works that way. And I think, but here's what I do think, is that if you let people know that they're affecting other people in a negative way, they will go, maybe I'll change my way. And I think that's what the viewer was getting to when he or she said, just approach people in a civilized way first. I have found that is always a waste of time. You guys do it the way you want. I think sometimes people need to be hit over the head, metaphorically, with obvious disapproval of their unstewardly behavior. Good morning. I'm so dark today. I'm sorry, but I just had to offset my darkness, if you will, with a little help from my friends. And I'm gonna go to. This is F sharp day. I'm not sure why it's F sharp day, but some of my favorite songs they just fit so well into F sharp. And here's another example. This is a Radiohead song from way back when, and I was told that Tom York hates this song, but I don't care. He wrote it, I like it, and let's see if we can do this. I want to see if I can get a little bit of an ambient vibe going here with the guitar. Let's see here. Do I have a slide handy somewhere? Well, this will work. Although I don't want to do it on this old guitar. Ugh. No, I can't bear to do that. I'll do it on my Starfires. I'm sure a lot of you were cringing right there. always important to keep a slide in the workshop here. Two jumps in a week. I bet you think that's pretty clever, don't you, boy? Flying on your motorcycle, watching on the ground beneath you drop. Kill yourself for recognition. Kill yourself to never, ever stop. You broke another mirror. You're turning into something that you're not. It's the best thing that you ever had. The best thing you ever had is gone away. Oh, it's the best thing you ever had. The best thing you ever had is gone away. I'm enjoying playing today. I'm enjoying the way it sounds. I hope it sounds good for y'all. Margot's mixing today. She mixes every day. She's got a Sunbeam blender over here, and she's got a digital board that's half digital, half analog, and that's the only way to do it. Digital mixing boards are. I'm going dark again, but I'm just going to go. That's another pet peeve of mine. I love when the digital world gets us under the ether, in a sense. We get anesthetized with the concept that life is going to be easier and everything's going to be more efficient. 99% of the time when I do a gig and a man or a woman has a digital board as opposed to an old school board with knobs, 99% of the time, I cannot get a request manifested in an efficient manner because they're too busy scrolling through the different windows so that they can navigate to the exact place they need to be in order to satisfy my request. Meanwhile, I could almost have done it myself quicker if they had an analog board by me putting down my guitar, walking to their position, turning the knob and coming back and playing. And so many mistakes are made, and yet people are getting rid of analog boards, old school boards with knobs left and right. And that's good because I get to buy them. But unfortunately, the public suffers because they have to listen to squeals and feedback and bad sound. But forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. And that's why you come to me, because I know more than they do. I'm Walter Parks, and I'm in a bad mood today for no particular reason other than that the damn leaf blower just woke me up at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm supposed to owe him the consideration of a civil conversation. I'm not happy about that. Anyway, can I pick another song in F sharp minor, which F sharp is tricky because you know those musicians among us would think, well, that's A major, okay, but you know, that last song kind of seemed really at home in E, but F sharp minor is the number 2 chord in the harmonized scale of E. So is high and dry, here's a question for the musicians out there, is high and dry F sharp, A, and E? Is it an E or is it an A? They both. There's a way to answer that question, and my musical knowledge or lack thereof will not allow me to answer that question. I think it's an E. It just sounds like it's an E. One way to do it might be to just sing the scale. Sounds good. That's E. How about A? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. They both work. What key is high and dry in? The first chord is F sharp minor. The second chord is A, straight triad, and the third chord is E. And the resolving chord, the last chord of the song, home bass. Well, I shouldn't say home bass because I'm swaying the jury. Is E major. So musicians out there, help me with it. And how do we figure that out? There are other notes in the scale that will not work with that, and that would probably tell me the true D sharp. Somebody?
Is there any D sharps in there?
Oh, are there any D sharps? Yes, that's what I was getting to. Are there notes in the scale that absolutely scream out atonal or bad? Okay, let's see. D sharp. I mean, are there any D sharps? That's what I would call a jazz note, you know. Yeah, I would say D sharp is fair game.
So Charlie says it's an E. You're right.
So, all right, if it's in E, then let's see. Let's see if a G sharp will survive in that. A G sharp, which is the major seventh of the key of A, is also allowed. But Charlie says
It's an E.
Charlie says it's an E. Okay. Charlie, is this Charlie Burns? Who's this Charlie who just says it's an E? I mean, I don't doubt Charlie who says it's an E, but that gets to the Sunday morning thing. We just believe. We're going to, instead of worshiping God, let's worship Charlie, who says it's an E. And Charlie, it's just funny. I know Charlie is a regular listener, but I think it's just funny that Margot says, Charlie says it's an E. And therefore, I mean, could it be Charlie Watts talking to us from the heavens?
Charlie 3300.
Okay. Anyway, let me close my eyes for a second, and I'm going to ask Charlie what.
Luna Star.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm going to close my eyes for a second and see if I can ask Charlie what the next song should be. Okay. I've heard from Charlie, and I'm going to play this song. I have two records that I'm particularly proud of as of late, and I'm going to play this song from the Cathedral record. I miss Jersey City very much, and this is a record that I recorded in Jersey City. I don't know if y'all can see this. I think you can if I tilt it away from the glare. Yeah, that's Cathedral. And I've always wanted to record just solo guitar in a big space. And this is one of the songs that I did on that recording. Everything's slow today so far. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm just in a dark mood. I'm actually very happy, you know. I'm actually it's a lovely day here in St. Louis. It's starting to get warm again. One of my dogs is here watching me on the couch adjacent, and my wife is over to my right, to y'all's left. And I have an old guitar. And I have coffee. What's not to like? It's the damn leaf blower. This one goes out to, I'm not sure about this. I think she likes this song. This goes out to, whether or not she likes the song, it's going to go out to Bela. Bela Ballstrom, or however you pronounce her last name, is the person who allowed me, if you will, to record in the Cathedral. And I had the cathedral all to myself for 5 days. It was wonderful. And this is one of the songs that I did at that concert, and it's on the CD. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. If being right means being without you, I'd rather live a wrongdoing life. Your mama and daddy say it's a shame, it's a downright disgrace. But as long as I got you by my side, I don't care what your people say. Your friends tell you there ain't no future in love with a married man. If I can't see you when I want, I'm gonna see you when I can. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. Am I wrong to fall so deep in love with you? Lord, I got a wife and 2 little children depending on me too. And am I wrong to hunger for the gentleness of your touch? Knowing I got somebody at home who needs me just as much. And are you wrong to give your love to a married man? And am I wrong for trying to hold on to the best thing I ever had? If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. I don't wanna be right. If it means do it without you, oh, I don't wanna be right. If it means do it without you. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. If being right means being without you, I'd rather live a wrongdoing life. Your mama and daddy say it's a shame, it's a downright disgrace. But as long as I got you by my side, I don't give a damn what people say. Your friends tell you there ain't no future in love in a married man. If I can't have you when I want, I'm gonna see you when I can. Oh, if loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. If loving be right if it means being without you. I don't wanna be right if it means doing without you. I don't wanna be right if it means doing without you. I'm enjoying playing this morning so much. I hope y'all don't mind my dark side a little bit, but you know, that's what happens when they change the time. I go to the dark side of the moon. And when they blow leaves, I should play Autumn Leaves, but I don't like that song. I've always hated that song. And I played it so many years with, I think it's just all the jazz guys play Autumn Leaves. I don't really think it's that good of a song, actually. You got me I've got a burr up my proverbial buttock right now. So I'm telling it like it is, sort of. I'm being diplomatic in saying that I don't think Autumn Leaves is that great of a song. It just kind of cycles around on the same little motif, and I don't know. Maybe Autumn Leaves. Actually, Autumn Leaves doesn't qualify as a song I'm sick of, because songs I'm sick of, I should play one. I'm going to play a song I'm sick of. But songs I'm sick of are songs that I really like, but I've heard too many times. So I'm not going to do Autumn Leaves as a song I'm sick of, because I just don't like the song. Songs I'm sick of are like Sweet Home Alabama. I love that song. It's a great song and a fantastic 2 guitar solos in it. But I'm just sick of it. So, now this one goes out to my folks, my friends in Jersey City, and I'm going to mute my signal for a second and change one of my pedals here. Nah, I'm not going to do all that. But I will, I think I'm going to give you some more ambience here. Let's see here. This will be fun. I've never done it with ambience. Let's see what happens. You skip a life and then go, turn cartwheels across the floor. I was feeling pretty seasick. The crowd called out for more. room was humming harder, and the ceiling flew away. When we shouted for another drink, the waiter brought a tray and said it was later. As the miller told his tale, that her face at first is ghostly, and the white shade of pale. She said there was no reason. The truth is plain to see. So I stumbled through my playing cards. People, I just could not let her be. One of the 16 Vestal virgins who were leaving for the coast. And although my eyes were open, people, they might just as well been closed. And so it was that later, when the miller told his tale, that her face at first was ghostly, turned to whiter shade of pale. Whiter Shade of Pale, originally done by Procol Harum. It's based on a Bach song. I thought it would be appropriate to play. That also is on my CD, Cathedral. Pick up a copy if you don't have it. It helps to support me doing these Sunday morning shows, and I get cards and letters from people saying, we listen to your shows and we're cooking breakfast or whatever we're doing, and yeah, we don't sit around the table like people. We don't sit around the computer like people used to sit around the television. But you're wafting through our house as the bacon sizzles or whatever, and I'm fine with that. And I do think that I should play. I owe it to you to play something up tempo. Everything has been. What time does Buddha say it is? Buddha says it's 10 p.m. St. Louis Standard Time. That means it's 11. What's that? 10 a.m. Buddha says it's 10 a.m. St. Louis Standard Time. So that means Baltimore Standard Time is 11. And so y'all are finished with your eggs, and you're about ready to have your mimosas and all of that sort of thing, as my listeners do. So I'm going to leave you with a fast tune, although I haven't decided what it's going to be yet. So give me a sec. Okay. I'm just gonna play something off my. I've also got a new record called The Unlawful Assembly. Walter Parks and The Unlawful Assembly. Here it is. And all of my covers seem to be in black and white. I always thought that history was in black and white, you know? I always thought that in the old days, how deprived they were, because, you know, the earliest photographs were in black and white, so I thought, well, those was poor folks back in history, in the Civil War and so on, there was no color. And for years I thought that, and it's hard for me to imagine history being in Technicolor or Panavision or whatever it is. And so I think of all things in the past as being in black and white. I think of all cars as being in black. Well, I think they were. I wish that cars were back to black. I don't want to rant anymore, but no, I'm not going there. I just love those old pictures of the old automobiles, and they were all in black. Your only choice was black. Life was simpler back when cars were black and mixing boards were analog, only analog. Life is simpler when all songs are in the key of E. But that's just not the way life is. And here's a song that's very, very out of the key of what I've been playing today. But this is from the old Unlawful Assembly record that I have done, completed recently with Stephen Williams and Ada Dyer and Paul Frazier and Michael Bellar and Andre Murchison. Pick up a copy. I am so proud of it. It is just buzzing like crazy in England right now. And we're trying to figure a way, we're trying to find a booking agent to get us over to England, because we are on fire right now in the UK and in Ireland and Wales and in Scotland. They are playing this record. It is the top of the charts, not the very top, but very top of the blues charts in the UK right now. And I'm so proud of that. Nice work, Stephen. Nice work, Merle Chornick of Atomic Sound in Brooklyn, and everybody else. So I'm headed back to New York next week. Somehow, some way, I'm going to be doing a broadcast from those parts. I don't know how we're going to do that on the road, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, we might have to do a Facebook Live, she says.
Check the website.
Yeah, just check the website. We want to be with you, but I don't know how I'm going to do this. It may be a little bit primitive and analog. I'm sure it's going to be all analog. No digital at all. No digital at all. Margot, I'm going to turn up the volume just a little bit on this one. Oh yeah, can y'all feel that? Dying, I don't want nobody. my time of dying. I don't want nobody to mourn. All I want you to do for me is to give that bell a tone. Well, I was going to try to end very dramatically and go back to the Pink Floyd clock loop that I created, but I can't find the loop. So that's what happens on Hymns and Hollers every now and then. Just showbiz, just not work like clockwork. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I was grumpy, and I'm still grumpy. And it's okay. It's okay. I hope I've made your morning a little bit, I hope not grumpy. You can be amused by my grumpiness if you want. But at the end of the day, I'm here with you, and I try to do it every Sunday without fail. We have not. Have we ever had to bail on one? I don't know if we've ever had to bail on one. We do it even if the technology's not quite happening. We walk around with a cell phone if we have to. That's what happened in Cleveland once. I do want to tell you about some things that are coming up. I've got a show in St. Louis. It's sort of tentative, but I think it's going to happen. Mid-December, I think it's the 15th. So think of Tax Day, April 15th, but slide the timeline all the way to December, and you'll remember that date. December 15th. If you're not in St. Louis, I advise that you get there. They have a modern airport now. I'm going to be performing with Jody Redditch. She's a cellist, and I met Jody in New York, working with Stephanie Winters. Jody was working with Stephanie Winters, and lo and behold, Jody moves to St. Louis during the COVID, just like we did. And I love the sound of the cello and the guitar, especially the electric guitar, and how that blends with the cello. So Jody and I are going to be, Jody's going to be helping me lay out the soundtrack for the Vault Allure. That's probably the next record project that I'm going to be doing. The Vault Allure, as most of you all know, is a concert series that Margot and I co-produced with Kern Weissman and the Jersey City Heights neighborhood. We hope to carry that on next year. We'll see. There's talk about opening the Jazz Festival with the Vault Allure next year. But nonetheless, I'm going to be starting a soundtrack for the